Hello, and welcome to the Diva Talks live show. I am your host, the Diva, and tonight we have a very special guest tonight. Oh my God, I'm super excited, super excited. But before I do that, before I introduce our special guest, I have to do something first. First and foremost, my beautiful mug here tonight, it says, Best Godmother Ever, blessed to have you. This is from my goddaughter, Ashley, all the way in Maryland. Thank you, baby. I told you I was going to have my mug. And yes, I'm wearing another hat tonight. This beautiful hat is from my sisters, my girls, Rhonda and Yvette. They bought this hat for me to wear on the show, and I promised them that I would wear it on my very first official show back. So I know I was on last week, but tonight I have a guest. So I am wearing the hat. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for joining me. Now, let's get down to business. We have an action-packed show tonight. Please help me welcome my special guest, Mr. D. Motley. Hey.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? What's up, Lady Diva? How are you?
I am wonderful. Let me say this first. Before I even start talking to you, I have to do things in order. And I have to wish your lovely wife a happy birthday on today.
No doubt.
Happy birthday.
Shouts out to my wife, Jerry. She turned 40 today, so we turning up right now. I had to get away and do this interview, but I'm going to get back down there.
I appreciate you. I appreciate her. I'm not going to hold you long, but we do have a lot to talk about. So we are going to get right into it. Again, thank you so much for joining me on tonight. Listen,
thank you for having me.
Motley. Now, Motley Spells is the real name, correct?
Well, Motley Spells, my grandmother was remarried. So, so her second husband was Albert Spells. But so, she actually kept Motley. And but yeah, that's my grandmother, and her husband is responsible for the Motley legacy. The late great Reverend Othalie G. Motley. So and then she carried on the ministry, but it is what it is,
Awesome. Well, I asked you that because my maiden name is Motley. And so many people will come up to me and ask me, are you kin to the singing family Motleys? Yeah. I'm like, yes. Yeah. Can you sing? Now, don't ask me to sing now. But I would always tell them, no, we're not related by blood, but we are by love, because I've been knowing you for a very long time, D-Ma. Your cousin Tasha and I were business partners, and you've been doing this thing for a long time. So listen, coming from a background family with singing, did you just automatically want to sing, or was it forced? Or talk about that?
No, truthfully, for those who don't know me, my family, the Motley family, is a very, very popular family in the Western New York area for gospel music and gospel singing. And I actually hated everything that had to do with church. I hated church. I hated singing. I hated playing instruments, and when I got a little older, I tried it, and then I wasn't any good. So they wouldn't let me sing, they wouldn't let me play. So, but
I don't believe that.
No,
really?
That's true. That's true. Anybody will tell you that. Shouts out to like people like Lamont Perry, who kind of believed in me, and he wanted me to play. But besides that, like Cass was like, nah, man, you can't really play. So, I just didn't. I didn't like church. I didn't like music. Unless it was like the Gap Man or some 80s stuff. You know what I mean? But I didn't really develop the knowledge that I had a gift until I was probably, I don't even know. I was an older kid.
Wow. Did you just learn by ear with the family, or did you go to a performing arts school?
Well, ironically enough, I did go to perform the Buffalo Academy for Visual and Performing Arts, but that was by default. I went there because I played basketball, and their basketball coach basically kind of recruited me there, like doctored me there. And so no one knows this, but I never majored in music. Like my major at Performing Arts was TV and radio. So I sang at the school one time as a freshman. Shouts out to PA, the best high school ever in the world, Buffalo Academy for Visual and Performing Arts. I had to throw that in there. But I think I sang my sophomore year one time, junior year one time, the senior year one time. Just music just wasn't something I wanted to do.
My goodness. Well, we're going to get in, we're going to dig into that, but I've got a lot more things that I want to talk to you about. So
Let's
obviously we
go.
cannot go further without talking about your beautiful family, your
Yeah.
wife, and all girls, right?
Yeah, I have 5 girls and 1 boy. Yeah,
Ooh, wait.
5 girls, 1 boy. My oldest, Zion, Zavi, Dakota, Jada, and then it's my son, Abishai, and then my baby girl, Zoe.
My goodness.
Yeah, so
I watched you.
we got a little clan, you know what I mean?
Yes, you do. And you look like you have a lot of fun together. I watched
Yeah,
when your single hit #1 and you got the plaque for it, and they
yeah,
opened it up and you were trying to be serious, and then I think you were the one who were laughing the most, and then you tell
yeah.
them to be serious. Talk about the family dynamic and how that is.
Well, let me say this real quick. I think family is the institution that God put together for us to do this life together with people you love. It doesn't always work like that, especially with blended families. But
Right.
I particularly depend on my family. Anybody who is married understands that marriage is not easy. Anybody who is single understands that being single is not easy. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to work at it. And but my children, uh, we just respect one another in a way where we try to grow and we try to forgive. Like the rule in my house is ELE. The rule in the church that I pastor is ELE. That's everybody love everybody. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
like
I like that.
if you don't love, you can't stay in my house. You know what I'm saying? If you don't love, you can't be a partaker at the church that I pastor. So you know what I mean? It's just about love. And love requires forgiveness. So me and my family, we rock out, no matter what we go through. I'm gonna tell you this though, Lady Diva, I don't go through nothing publicly. Nothing. Not the death of my good friends, not the death of my grandparents, people, anything I go through, whether it's trial, success, I don't deal with any of it openly, man. I just try to deal with it with people who I know, love my good and my bad. I don't know if that makes sense.
Understood.
But yeah.
I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that. So now we're going to talk about your church and the pastor. You are my daughter. She loves your wife. She loves you as well. But you and your wife are in the ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your church, where it's located. Give us some times and things of that nature.
Okay, so I pastor the Remnant House Outreach Church in the city of Buffalo, New York. Is known as the Rock Movement, RHOC Movement, and we're located at 1232 Hurdle Avenue in the city of Buffalo. Services are every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. And what we just believe there is that we're just a part of a movement who is emphatic on just touching the heart of God. I'm not religious, so I'm not religious at all. I don't do denomination. No pun to anybody. I just do God. I have our church is non-denominational, but it's also multicultural.
Mm,
We've had Asian, we had Latino, Spanish, Caucasians, predominantly African American, but multicultural church. So if you just want to come to a place where you don't want to be judged per se, you just want
right.
you want to just like meet God, come see us because it starts with me. I'm like the biggest sinner that I know, and I'm only a sinner saved by grace. So I tell
Mm,
people just come on in as you are. Let's learn about the Father together, and then let's get out of here and take it to our community. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
What
So
made you get into becoming a pastor?
you know what? Honestly, I always knew I had to do it. I ran from it for many years. I think basketball and football, were my excuses to get away. I did really well in athletics. So, I was awarded the opportunity to go to college for basketball and, travel the world doing that. But honestly, I knew when I was a kid that it was something that I had to do that was bigger than everything else that I was doing. You know what I mean? And so, and I
Mhm.
want to say this to everybody that's listening. Being a pastor don't make you perfect. Being a pastor doesn't make you right. Being a pastor doesn't make you the dictator. It's just a higher level of responsibility to stay consistent, to tell people, hey, listen, no matter what you're going through, let us trust in God, and that's not like diminishing the deity of God or the importance,
Right.
but it's just saying, listen, like I'm a guy, I'm I'm a distinguished low life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's how God looks at us. And I just want people to understand, man, that God loves us right where we are. So I felt like I knew I always had to teach good things. And so because I'm not religious, church is just not the church building for me.
Right.
Churches everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
When I fall, you know, I gotta depend on God where I'm falling at. So I
Wherever
don't wait
you
for
are.
church. You know what I mean? I don't wait for church to fix me. You feel me?
Awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I know I went to one of your shows in Canada,
Yeah.
and before you even started speaking, you were ministering through music and just actually just talking. You were doing a concert, but I just remember waking up stretched out on
Uh,
the floor.
yeah, that was, you know what? That was a remarkable concert, simply because like the move of the father was in there. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
sometimes it's not about the song. You know, when he show up and he like, nah, I do something different. You know, I do remember that concert, and I want to thank you for,
Amazing.
you know, coming to Toronto to hear that performance, and it was an amazing
It was
time.
amazing.
But
Amazing.
I love that, and I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like that can happen anywhere because it has happened. I did a gospel show in a bar, and people were telling me, "Yo, don't do that, man. You know, you already got a bad reputation, and this and that." They're gonna say that, and I'm like, man, listen, like God is everywhere, and Jesus is for everybody. So we did this concert in a particular bar, and at the end of the night, I did an altar call, and I started counting how many people were coming up, and it was like 17, and I just stopped counting. It
Mm-hmm.
was like 17 people came up who, you know, had drinks in their hand, or people who came that wasn't listening to the music, like per se, that I thought they weren't listening, but they came up, gave their life to Christ. And so, you know, I knew that at that moment that this is what I was called to do.
But that's what people have to understand is that's where you're supposed to go, because those are the people who
Yeah,
you're trying to bring in. You're not trying to
absolutely.
bring in the people that are already in church.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Can I
have
be
to
honest?
go.
Let me elaborate on something. This could get certain people who care in trouble, but I'm not one of those people who care. So at the end of the day, I believe that we're really not getting anybody. Like
Okay.
what I feel we should be doing is pointing people into the direction of where the Lord is at,
Mm,
because then He is going to tell them how to live their life. So I tell people all the time, listen, I'm no counselor. You know, God is the
right.
counselor, or the person who went to school to get a counseling degree. I'm a spiritual advisor, and I need counseling sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So at
Mm,
the end of the day, I just want to teach people, like, here's where the Father is at, and love is where He's at, and peace is where He's at, and we need that when we're upset, frustrated, broken, crumbled. You know, which is life. Like, what I hate about religion and, you know, world stuff, and it's like it's always Christians against this religion, or this religion against people who don't believe. But really, we're all looking for peace.
that's the truth.
We're all
That
looking
is
for
the
peace.
truth.
So that's how I dissect the word of God. I don't dissect it by an organization, nor do I dissect it by a denomination. I dissect it by what does people need. So I'm teaching people basically how to pastor themselves.
I feel like we need to pass the offering plate right now after
No,
that, because
please don't.
that that was a word right
You
there.
know what? You know what's funny? Like, I get into a lot of trouble too about this, because sometimes I tell people, like, I don't collect the salary, the pastor, at all.
Mm,
Like, I don't want to. I don't take money to preach.
wow.
You know, singing is different, because somebody, if it's a concert, somebody getting paid. So
Right.
at the end of the day, like, that's different. You know, that's my job to actually sing. I'm a singer. You know, it's just funny. You know, you get royalties and have to pay taxes, and it's like, oh man, this is a job now. But
Right.
you know, we don't even raise offering at our church. I believe that people should tithe on their own. You know, and we're doing fine. We're doing really well. Matter of fact, we did better economically and financially during COVID than we did
Mm,
without COVID,
wow. What
and
a
that's true.
blessing.
You know, and
That is
so
a blessing.
yeah, I'm just excited to teach truth. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Well, you spitting the word right there, and I appreciate that. I want to get into something when you were mentioned about you had did a concert at a location, but you
Yeah,
also did a concert for Black Friday. It was the BFE concert.
yeah,
How
yeah.
did you land that? And you did your thing. You
You know
did
what's
your thing.
you know what's funny about that? Uh, I got that concert because I ended up getting on the Life Jennings Life and Love tour. All right, so which I'm currently on now. Some dates have been canceled due to COVID, but shouts out to Life for like definitely wanting me to be on the tour. Then shouts out to Rio Weber for making it happen. You know what I mean? But right now I think myself and Molly Music, I think we're like the only gospel artists who are on like major R&B tours right now. But that's how I landed that gig, and ironically enough, I got a part in a movie from that gig, just solidified
Wow.
it like recently. So God he just makes it happen. I think we have to be available by making good music or being dedicated to what you're trying to do, and
Mhm.
then people will feel that. So that's how I landed that basically.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome. So
yeah.
how do you balance? How do you balance, being your family, your church, and your music? Because you have a lot going on.
I do. I still have a day job. People be like, man, how in the world you doing all of this and
Really?
working in the NFL? Yeah, I got it, man. Listen, I got to retire from that gig. I done had it 27 years. I got to finish this 30.
That's
But
it.
yeah, I have a great family. You know what I mean? We do our job. Like everybody does what they're responsible to do. So I can't take the credit. I think it's a team. It's a team effort. My wife does a great job with the children and does her part, and I do my part. And it's not about who does what. It's about doing what you said you're going to do. And so my children are wonderful. They're growing up. Two of them have vehicles, and we getting older, and it's like, whoa,
Right.
they were just little girls. Now they driving. Got boyfriends, and which makes me get guns and stuff. Now, but truthfully, is I can't take credit, but I think I don't really balance anything. I think I just do what I'm supposed to do,
Okay. Okay.
and it works.
It's working. You look good when you say you have children that's driving. I just look at you and I look at your wife. You're very stylish and you're relatable.
To
You're
God be the glory.
relatable. People relate to you, and
Respect.
and you can talk to people, and I like that. Now, are you still hosting the podcast Spirit Urban Fire?
Yeah, actually, I just I recorded the show today. Just got back to Buffalo a couple hours ago, but that show is on Letter R, which is like our spirit dot online. And what I love about that show, shouts out to Pastor James Cooper. He's the owner. He allows me to to blend in some of the love music that's godly and not lustful into what people need spiritually too, because so that comes on every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Letter Our Spirit online. The show is called the Urban Gospel Show with Pastor Diva. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's get into this music that we're talking about. So listen,
Yeah.
I saw you standing with the Stellar Award. Congratulations, 2020 Stellar Award 2020. Let's talk about the album. I don't think you have it out anymore. It's a CD, but it's called Unbothered.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that title mean?
Well, first of all, to do that CD, I was in a very stressful place at first because I'm thinking, okay, here I am, a pastor. I have a past. I have struggles, and then now I'm like, God has given me this R&B music, but I felt like God has always, always given me love music, and I felt like I started doing gospel because people wanted me to. So
Mhm.
ironically enough, Sunday's lesson was freedom of fear, and I talked about all of us being afraid to be great most of our lives because we're afraid to be who God called us to really be because it causes us anxiety. And sometimes we don't even eat the right foods because we don't know what we like because we're so busy eating what everybody else around us eats.
You
know what I
better
mean?
say
So I'm
that.
like, you know what I mean?
Oh
So I
my
felt
God.
like that CD came out of a place of understanding that, wait a second, it's time for me to sing music for everybody. You know, I don't want to just sing music that's causing people to be sad or happy. Or, like, no, I want to sing songs that's going to cause relationships to men, you know, or men to be able to say, yo, I was wrong. Yo, I did this. I hurt you. Forgive me, you know, or me to say, yo, I blew it in my first relationship, or yo, I'm blowing it in my second relationship. And so I want to sing about that, you know. So that album is basically a book of songs of things I've been through in relationship, you know, mistakes I've made in relationship, the wrong I've done. You know, it covers the gamut. So unbothered means I'm unbothered by what people think.
And that brings me, before we talk about your #1 single and the single that you have out now, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Speaking about the unbothered, on social media, I've just read a couple of people that have been in the spotlight. Regina King's son, the former Miss USA, they passed away, death by suicide.
Yeah.
And they just looked normal. They looked unbothered.
Yeah.
And clearly they weren't, and something was going on. What would you say to someone watching tonight that's bothered and thinking that this is it, I'm done?
Unlearn what you've been taught. The hardest thing in the world for any individual is to unlearn what we've been taught. Some things we don't like and we know is not beneficial for us, but because of who taught it to us, we hold on to it. You know, and so that spirit of suicide it's a strong spirit because it comes out of isolation, or it comes from people not understanding that like God cares, or people not realizing that that situation is gonna pass tomorrow. We just have to like stop being afraid to hold on. So what I would tell individuals right now who are dealing with suicide, and I want you to know there's a lot of people dealing with that spirit. You know, I too dealt with that spirit for many years. And the encouragement that I want to say to anyone who is dealing with that spirit is that's not what the Father wants for your life. You know, you too are somebody, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And the Bible says in Jeremiah 29:11 that God says this through the prophet Jeremiah. He says, tell my people that I have an expected end for them. I have an end. Their end is not going to benefit them, but I have an end, and it's a good end. It's an end, END that is good and is not evil. So don't hang on, hold on.
Thank you.
Yeah, love is on the way.
Wow. Thank you.
God be the glory.
And I appreciate that. Wow. So Angel, #1 on the internet gospel station. Talk about that single, how long it was #1, and what are we doing right now?
Yeah. So in November, that song was on the Billboard charts for I think 5 to 6 months. Started at 97 on the charts and climbed all the way to #1. It was #1 for 3 weeks straight, and now it is okay. And so the ironic part about it is today, presently, it's still in the top 10. So I'm grateful. That song speaks for any man who is just better because of a relationship with a woman.
Awesome.
That's it.
Well, that's going to lead me right into the song that was just released called Love Ballad. Now, we're going to play a little bit of that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. And to my audience, you're going to know this song right off the bat. But when I say he did his thing with it, well, you know what, boss lady, let him hear it. This is.
I swear I love you. I need you. I gotta have you. Listen. I have never been so much true love made in my life. So nice, so right. Loving you gave me something new that I never felt, never dreamed of. Something's changed, though it's not the feeling I had before. Oh, it's much, much more. Listen, your love, I never knew that a touch would mean so much. What a difference. And when we walk hand in hand, I feel so real. Lovers come and then lovers go. That's what folks say. But don't they know they're not here when you love me, when you hold me and say it's gonna be okay. And what we have is much more than they could see. Yeah, 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 yeah. What we have is much more than they could see. Never really met now. 'Cause what we have is much more than they could see. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say what we have is much more than they could see. What we have is much more than they can see. Every argument, every distance, what we have is much more than they can see. What we have is much more.
Another number one. Another
Berkeley.
number one.
Yeah, man,
I-
Berkeley.
listen,
I received that. I received that. I received that.
listen, you did that. Now we
Come
know
on.
that LTD years
Yeah.
ago, you were
Yeah.
a baby. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you were a baby when you heard that.
Two,
But
like two years old. I
2 years
believe.
old, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of songs, you know, they say you don't want to touch them. You want to leave songs alone. You want to leave a
Yeah.
good song alone.
Don't
You
mess
took
it up.
that song and you made it Motley song.
Wow. That's
You made
what
it your
I-
song.
To God
You-
be the glory. You know, you're right. You shouldn't touch a classic, and because you might mess it up. But I really felt like the spirit of love was in that recording, and so I'm just grateful. It's actually out now, so everybody who wants to get it, it's on all social media platforms. It's on all digital platforms for sale, available now. Love Ballad by Diva. Yeah.
Yes. And then we have 2 of your songs already in heavy rotation right here on Buffalo's own WDAP radio. This song will be added to the list. DA and Boss Lady already let you know that. So
Yeah.
listen to Buffalo's own WDAP radio. You will hear Mr. D. Motley. What's next?
Movie. Got a movie coming out. I got I think it's a Coley role, I'm thinking, or some kind of role. But there's a movie that's coming out, a documentary that I'm in called The Evolution of Gospel Music, Rooted and Grounded. That's coming out pretty soon. Let me see. Just right now, I guess just the tour, still on the Life and Love tour. with Life Jennings and sprinkled dates with Chrisette Michelle. And I'm just recording. Matter of fact, I got another song we're gonna drop real soon called "Yearning for Your Love."
Woo! You playing?
No,
You playing?
It's not the Gap Band either. It's Yearning, but for your love too. I had to throw that in there, but I don't know. I'm just making music because the world is getting dark. The sun is setting on this world, but God is everywhere and He wins. You feel me?
Absolutely.
So love is God. God is love. So I'm gonna keep making love music. I'm gonna keep making music that's giving God glory. And so that's it. So just follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, DMOTT Motley. My fan page is DAPtv. Instagram @theofficial DMOT, no apostrophe. YouTube, DMOT, just DMOT, DAPtv topic, or the official. Website, DMOTTmusic.com. You can
Give us your address to your church again. Give the address to your church again.
The address to the church I pastor in the city of Buffalo, New York, all right, is 1232 Hurdle Avenue. All right, that's 14216, city of Buffalo. All right, we have services every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. All right, we do Bible study on Wednesday nights at 7:00 p.m. And the church is called the Rock Movement, acronym for Remnant House Outreach Church.
DMOT, my goodness.
My sister.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, my sister, it's love. It's love.
Absolutely. Nothing but love. Listen, you even told me something that I want you to share with the audience that you were going to do for the show. So you're giving something away. What are you giving away?
So we have only CDs that I have, physical CDs left, are all my gospel music. All right. So there, you won't find any of my gospel music online. So what we're going to do tonight for your listening audience, we're going to give away 10 of my Dossier CDs, which was the last CD that I put out prior to Unbothered. And then the CD prior to that, which is my Beautiful Chaos CD. We're going to give 10 faithful listeners some Beautiful Chaos CDs, and we're going to give 10 faithful listeners some Dossier CDs.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, don't you go anywhere. You stay right there. I want to thank you so much for coming on. May you continue to be blessed, and happy birthday again. Happy 40th to your beautiful wife. And just keep doing what you're doing. You have a platform here, the movie drop, the music drop, whatever it is. You want to come back and talk, preach, whatever. You always have a home right here on the Diva Talks live show. You already know this.
I love you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I love you even more. Don't you go anywhere. Listen, so I want to do something new. I'm going to be starting something new this season on the show. And at the end of every show, I will be doing a what if, why, how, or when. And so basically what I'm going to be doing is a topic, and I'm going to carry it on into the Diva Talks live show after talk. So tonight, my topic would be what if. So as you know, COVID shut the world down back in March of 2020. I mean, something we couldn't see, we couldn't taste, we couldn't hear, we couldn't smell, completely paralyzed the world. What if tomorrow morning you woke up and social media was completely gone, never to return? What would you do? How would your world change? Let's talk about it on the Diva Talks live show after talk. Listen, find your happy space and make sure that you stay there. Once again, thank you, DMOT. Love you, love you, love you. To my audience, listen, you did not have to be here tonight. You did not have to watch, but I'm sure glad you did. And I hope you come back next week as well. Next week, my special guest will be the one and only Miss Sheila Brown from Buffalo's own WUFO Radio 96.5, Power 96.5, the first African-American woman here in the city of Buffalo to own her own radio station. So make sure you come back next week, 7 p.m. But again, if you do anything, make sure you find your happy space. And when you find it, make sure you stay there. God bless. Thanks for watching. See you next week.